Hello everybody, Frankie here from Vibrant Center for Voice and Movement, and I'm continuing posting these live sessions on Instagram, but they are going to be shared afterwards on the Facebook group that branches off the Vibrant Center Facebook page, and that is Vocal, Physical, and Emotional Athletes. So if you'd like to have access to a bunch of videos on a range of topics such as the mindset of acting, breath work, voice, character, physicality, on and on and on, check out the Facebook group Vocal, Physical, and Emotional Athletes that is part of the Vibrant Center Facebook page. Hi everybody. So I've been thinking, because often when I'll start to work with a client, they'll come in with a mindset of, okay, I need to be prepared to do voice exercises, and ideally I'd like to work on it in my own time, 40 minutes a day, so the next time I see you, I can feel very like a good student and get a gold star. And then often that initial optimism can burn out when real life hits, right? So one of the things that I have my clients do is not to think of voice work as separate to the other things that they're doing. So we integrate voice exercises and the skill sets that we bring into the room into other things that they're doing, such as their audition pieces, such as some downtime. If they're driving around in the car, they can play with some sounding and straw work. And the point being that exercises should not feel like a thing that is separate to the actual activity that you're learning these exercises to do. So when you get a script, you can start to think about your breath work, your structuring, your articulation, channeling your impulse, playing with pitch and rate and texture, and all of these things as you are practicing lines, as you're reading it for the first time, and starting to think creatively about how you're going to present this character as you're exploring your impulses about what they might look like or how they might move. So that's one of the biggest shifts that I'm trying to bring in with how I work with clients, is that voice is not this separate thing that I do and then I do my acting. But voice and breath and physicality are all part of what is supporting my acting. They are the recipe of ingredients that I have that create the scene, that create that self-tape. So this is also part of habit stacking, that when you make these things integrated, then it doesn't feel like, oh, one of these days I'm gonna have this amazing practice session and do a whole bunch of breath work. I don't know why this camera is quite doing this, but hey, it's Thursday, so it's gonna do what it's gonna do. So that's a big key. That's one tip for today, is to integrate your voice work, integrate your movement as you're playing with character. Sometimes clients are told you should memorize your lines in a monotone voice, except that a monotone voice is also habit. And so what is almost always more effective is to speak really fast and speak really slow, speak really high, sing it in opera, talk really low, think about speaking from different parts of your body, and also moving around the room, skipping and moving, especially because some of us may have been brought up to be still and memorize lines sitting at a table, but actually some of us memorize our lines better when we're moving our bodies. I know I'm one of them, and when I was little, I'd pace back and forth in the room, and my mom would go like, why can't you just sit down? And I'd actually do much, much better pacing back and forth and working on lines that way, skipping, stretching, dancing around the room, and then also putting that kind of movement into my voice. So I want you to try that this week and see what happens. See if you have a different kind of impulse. See if you bust out of a habit or a routine and discover something new. Does it feel a bit scary? Maybe that's a good thing. So have fun with that. One other shorter tidbit is I want to give a call out to some amazing podcasts. We live in this era where you have access to an endless number of podcasts on your phone or your computer. And what a brilliant way to get insight into the lives of other people. I was listening to Ear Hustle on the drive in, and this latest episode is centered on one of the women who was part of Charles Manson's cult, and did not herself do murder, but she was a part of the group on the second day. And it's really amazing just to listen to how a person is more than the worst thing they've ever done or the worst night of their life. And that's a big theme that comes up in Ear Hustle a lot, is you get to hear people who are incarcerated, who have done horrible things, who have committed crimes, and they are also fathers and mothers and lovers and partners and musicians and creative and have dreams and aspirations. And that is really essentially what acting is about, is bringing the whole self, bringing this full dimensional person into a role. And so what a wonderful reminder, wonderful window into some very varied types of people, and learning so much more about them than this one dimension. So if you haven't listened to Ear Hustle, I do highly, highly recommend it. It's such a beautiful show, and I think they're in their fourth season by now. It's been going for a while, so there's lots to learn about, lots of stories to hear, lots of lingo to learn, and of course, these are often the voices of people that we don't get to learn about or hear about in our daily lives. Certainly I don't. So I highly, highly recommend Ear Hustle. I'm also going to put a shout out to one more. It's called Crackdown, and that is a podcast produced out of Vancouver, which is where I'm from, and it's by people who are drug addicts. And so it's from their perspective, and they get into history and policy making and things like that, and how that's directly impacted the lives of people who are addicted, people who are running safe injection sites, on and on and on. And I have to say, I learned a lot. And again, this is another group of people who also might be in the prison system, whose stories we don't often hear about. Certainly I don't always get to hear about the multi-dimensional, the multi-layers of people's lives who are from drug-addicted populations. It's a wonderful, wonderful window for artists to be able to research and listen and hear and grow, and perhaps to think about ways of serving those communities with our work, as well as when we're asked to take on a character, to ensure that we understand we're not playing a stereotype, or that we're judging a character from our own ignorance or lack of experience in those kinds of contexts. So there you go. You have a little bit of homework to do, a mission should you choose to accept it, with regards to working with new texts and bringing your voice and body into that, as well as 2 podcast recommendations from me. That's going to be it for this live session today. Boop. My camera seems to be dying. And in the meantime, again, shout out, join Vocal, Physical, and Emotional Athletes, the group on Facebook, to see these and many, many more videos that I've been doing each week. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye.